I'm just gonna come out and say it. I think this might be an anime of the season contender. It's already my personal favorite show I'm following, and as many good picks as there is this season, this one, it takes the cake for me. The world blew me away in episode 1, and the world continues to do so in episode 2 of Heavenly Delusion, and call me crazy, I mean, it would make the scene in episode 1 a little more sus, given that one of our main characters, Kiro, ends up basically trying to kiss themselves in the mirror. So my theory may make it a little more strange, but if Alabama or anime has shown me anything, if there's a will, there's a way. So what I'm talking about is that by the end of this episode, we get the reveal, because honestly, went a lot faster than any romance anime I've seen. These two characters, you would think there's some chemistry there. There could be a relationship, and our boy ends up making a move. It doesn't go swimmingly, and both are rather embarrassed when it's all said and done. But what ends up happening is Kiro says, listen, I may have the body of a female, but my mind's a man. And I'm just thinking, oh, okay, you don't see it too often in anime, and I just took it at face value. But then as I was grabbing my screenshots, I started thinking about it more, and I said, wait a second, we're in a world where the innkeeper, who basically stopped our characters from hunting this giant bird monster, turns out to say that's her son. We have the discrepancy in time potentially because we have this futuristic school setting, some curses going on with this like weird plague going up this one character's leg in a wheelchair. Seemingly same thing happened to our character in terms of a family friend, a relative. Ultimately, we don't know if these two perspectives are the same time period, if they're different time periods. We don't know where this show wants to go. So I wouldn't put it past it to say, what if the so-called dead brother, who we get the confirmation of in this episode, is actually the brain that's inside who was the sister's body? Because apparently, after the accident, something happened and seemingly, according to the general populace, everything changed with them. So I'm interested to see if that's the direction they're trying to go. Like I said, it would be a little sus given that in episode 1, seemingly you're trying to kiss yourself in the mirror, and if it is the brother's mind inside the sister's body, I mean, we got ourselves a Sweet Home Alabama situation, but honestly, I'm here for this show. This one is truly compelling. The world building is exceptionally well done. The background art is some of the best I've seen, and honestly, it just has so many different styles of production that just make me just smile. Sometimes when the characters are running around, it kind of feels like Keep Your Hands Off Eizouken in terms of how the animation style was in that one. I think it has this kind of like refined, almost glossy approach to so many of the simplistic shots. I'm here for this one. I really dig it. Now, full live reaction episode 2 is available on my Patreon if you do want to see that. Seriously, I love this one. Every season I hope to find one show that just hooks me in top to bottom, and Heavenly Delusion pretty much did that in episode 1, but seriously, the more I watch of this show, the more I say, I have no idea where you're truly going, and even if maybe it turns out the brother's mind is in the sister body and it is a time discrepancy, there's still so much I don't know. One of the biggest moments that really had me scratching my head is the fact that there's this moment where, I don't know, it's like these things they attach to like this big cylinder in the middle of their forest school backyard, I don't know what to call it, and the dude gets risen up to a height that if he fell, you would die because you'd break your neck. There's no way you'd survive that fall. Well, he ends up falling and he bounces, and I was like, okay, well that character's dead. No, he got up, he shook it off. Didn't even look like it hurt too much. At the very beginning of this episode, when one of the characters is chasing after another because they got the weird fish hand drawing, they jump into the tree. It's not like they climbed. At first I thought maybe I just missed it. No, when I was grabbing my screenshots, I paid attention. That girl literally jumped from the ground to 20 feet in the air. There is something weird going on at this academy school, and I really don't know if this is all one time period. I mean, you would initially expect, well, if we're following a character with a big laser gun, it has to be more or less the same time period, even though this doesn't look too futuristic. They have futuristic technology. I honestly am starting to wonder if this academy setting is actually the past and something happened, whether experimentation, whether they turned into monsters, is this how humanity fell, or is it really just a so-called safe haven or heaven in the middle of nowhere where everyone else is potentially cannibals? Because honestly, if you show me any group of people who seem normal in a world like this, my zombie survival instincts are going off saying you guys are cannibals. I mean, right now, it seems like the group they bumped into just like to get high and play guitar in the middle of the night. I mean, at first when I was looking at some of their decorations, I was like, I'm pretty sure they just got weed hanging all over their home, and then literally 2 seconds later, you see someone light up a blunt, and I'm like, all right, they're just enjoying their lives. But there is something ominous, right? I mean, last week, it's like, okay, are we about to get cooked into dinner because this woman's like not charging an arm and a leg? Seemingly she's poisoning us. I was hoping that it was just like she was trying to keep them safe, and it kind of turned out to be true, but it also was, I don't want you killing my son, who didn't take too long to take a swipe at mama. I mean, it's interesting how they get around censorship. I saw some images from, I think it was the manga, and it's definitely a lot more nude in that version, but you can't deny the fact that the way they get around censoring nudity in this show compared to the general white bars, or you can't even tell what you're looking at in any other show, there's a moment where one of these characters ends up getting some porn of one of their classmates, and there's like soap covering all the bits. It's like surprisingly revealing without showing the main thing that gets around it, or even when the head gets cut off. I mean, there's no blood, but it's still a pretty graphic scene. Most people probably thought she was about to die. I thought the full head would come off, but the split into two was kind of surprising, but I mean, I wasn't totally shocked at the same time. I like this world. There's a lot we don't know, and the reason I was so sucked in to begin with episode 1 was saying, you could show me any of these perspectives and I'm interested. There's so much we don't know. Robots, monsters. Is this, like, what is this time period? What happened? How did humanity reach this point? And when I leave episode 2, I'm even more interested. For me, I would say episode 1 was all about establishing a complex and intriguing world. Episode 2 continues on that, but it makes the characters more of a front and center. And with the bombshell that we have one of our characters saying we do have the whole male mind, female body, could just be a literal thing there, which is fine. I'd be interested to see if that would persuade our boy to back off, or if his love is his love and he doesn't care either way. But the more you look at what this world is, I wouldn't be opposed if it is the whole, like, they literally put someone else's brain in someone else's body. Whether it was an accident, whether it was on purpose, I don't know. But either way, I mean, this is the type of show that you're bound to make plenty of theories, you're gonna theory craft, you're gonna speculate, and a lot of it probably won't turn out right, but that's part of the fun of a show like this, where the world is so, what am I looking at, and what does anything truly mean at any given moment? Opening and ending, fantastic. The music in this episode, sometimes they let the music play for like 3 seconds and then they cut it off like a sound effect, and honestly, they know how to make the tension right. That moment when they're like chasing the beast down in the dark, I love how you don't really see much, but then the car will catch on fire and then you'll see it burning, or the clouds will pass over the moon to reveal more light. Really good directing. It feels like a really refined production, and for me personally, is currently my favorite anime of the season, but that's just me anyway. But hey, those are just my feelings. You can let me know what you're thinking. If you got any theories, do you agree that it could potentially be the brother's brain in the sister's body, or do you think it is literally just what they said and it's not going to be anything more than that? Either way, it would work for me, but this is a weird world and I wouldn't be opposed to some weird sibling and mutation combination that went on, but you never know, right? So thoughts and feelings yourself down below. Drop a like if you enjoyed and subscribe if you're new around here. Be sure to ring that bell so you can get notified when I upload on the channel, and like I mentioned, we do have that full live reaction available on my Patreon, and while you're there, you can also get video shoutouts. So today we have Haruto Yuzuki, Nugzio, and Michael Barnes. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care and have a good one.